having me on your platform. You
No
definitely
problem,
doing
man.
an
No problem.
amazing job. And me going to my first indie show it was a mind blowing experience.
Awesome. All right, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another fabulous episode of 15 Minutes of Fandom brought to you by the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. What we do here is we take the spotlight and we put it on one wrestling fan that we feel stands out from the crowd. So, with that being said, I'm your host, that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows, but 4 continents down, 2 more to go. No cap, straight facts, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about me. You see, we have a special guest with us tonight. This is a man who actually is not only an avid wrestling fan, but he loves WrestleMania so much that he has his own brand called Mania Trivia. If you want to test your knowledge on WrestleMania, check this man out. Everybody, welcome to the show, Malcolm Litt. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you, Remy Blue. Thank you for getting me on your platform. Um, this big shout out to him. We met last year, WrestleMania, coming back from Vegas. You know what I mean? He gave me his card, and I just feel like from just ever since we just had to tap in.
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all podcasters here. Y'all make sure you get those business cards, man. Whether it's the old school ones, the physical ones, or whether it's the digital ones, make sure you get your business card because you never know who might reply. You know, and if you get them, if you make business cards, make sure they stand out. Because you never know. You never know who's watching. But it's not enough about us, man. So Malcolm, man. So you went to House of Glory, man. How was it, man? How was everything with you going there as a fan, your experience and everything?
Um, Honestly, that was the most mind blowing experience. Honestly, it was just the purest of wrestling. Like, yeah, we love the WWE, AEW, TNA, but they super polished. They're already at the top of the level. Even if we feel like, oh, they could do better, well, they at the top of the mountain already. Seeing House of Glory wrestlers, up and coming wrestlers, was a mind blowing. Seeing Zilla last match at House of Glory, now he's in WWE, mind blowing. Like just seeing so new wrestlers that I feel like, oh, they could get a major contract, but they still grinding on the indies to get their name up. Great experience.
Man, I'm gonna tell you a bit of a story about that. So, and I'm kind of pissed off because I'm like because of how it happened. So, I was actually on my way to that show. I made the show. I was on my way to that show, and I was gonna catch the bus around my way. But for some reason, MTA, y'all, New York MTA, y'all already know how to stress people out, man. Like real talk, man. Y'all, all this money y'all charging, y'all, it is what it is. But I'm there, right? I see the bus is there. She told me, oh, she's leaving in like 10 minutes. Okay, cool. But I see the clouds start forming. So I'm like, oh, geez, is it going to rain? And then lo and behold, some heavy rain fell.
Heavy.
And I got soaked for the most part. I had to run back to my house. Luckily, I only live like two blocks away from one of the bus stops. And I was like, yo, this is crazy, man. Like, I gotta go to this show and like I gotta be at this show and like I think it was like when it started 7:30, it was like 6 o'clock, and I hadn't
Yeah.
even left. So I'm like, yo, I gotta be at this show at 7:30, man. Like, what's going on? So, and I'm not really a fan of calling an Uber unless I really, 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 really need it. So, but I was like, this is one of those times. So I went in, changed, um, put on, some new clothes, called Uber. But then all of a sudden, I got that error on my phone that said my phone was wet. So I'm like, oh shoot. Like the USB port was kind of wet. So made it to the show on time. Everything went well. But my phone died as soon as I got there. So honestly, and you know what the crazy thing is? I got there and luckily the bouncer was like I was able to show my ticket.
Mm-hmm.
because it's a digital ticket. But
Yeah, of course.
afterwards, phone died. I was like, damn, like it's a good thing because I probably wouldn't have made the show. I was able to get inside, enjoy the show. But when I saw that there were a lot of highlights of that show. Now I'm definitely gonna try to catch every House of Glory show, whether it's here. I
Mm-hmm.
know the next one's in LA, which and I've been to LA several times. I'm probably not gonna go there next month,
Okay.
but I'm gonna try to tune in for that one. But just so many moments from that show, man. I didn't even know that was his last. That was his last show. Had I known, and I was like, my phone was out of commission, so I'm like, geez, I can't believe it. Like I'm missing a moment here, but it is what it is.
Yeah, like that's why I said that it was a great experience. Like I said, it was just more than Zilla, Amazing Red, Ricky Sosa, Casey. It was just the House of Glory wrestlers itself. I said,
Yeah.
oh, like who's that guy, and who's that girl, and why they love that person. It was just my mind would just. I felt like I'm looking at pro wrestling for the first time.
Oh yeah. I could tell you this as somebody who's gone to indie shows for the past 14 years. They're always a vibe. They're always a great vibe. You never know who's gonna show up. I mean, come on, you had Javon Evans showing up too, and it's like that's crazy. Like that man travels all over the world, and homeboy just pops up everywhere. Like, sheesh. I didn't even see. And you would unless you look closely, you wouldn't know it's him.
Exactly. He had the ski mask on right towards like on like the left hand side where the bar is at.
Yeah.
He was towards I said, no, that's probably somebody else and everything. And then I saw somebody else just took a picture. I said, wait, Javon was there? I'm like, no way. Like, but he still respect the indie work because he still have friends in them small promotions to say, hey, you keep working, you're gonna get where I'm at.
Oh yeah. And man. So what? So aside from Zilla Fatu's final match, which and that was a great match by the way. What was your like favorite part of the night from that whole event?
But besides the cash in from Sweet Cheeks, like that was a good cash in. Like that was a whole big setup, but also the two best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was the most classic match I ever seen. Jay Lyon and
Ah, and
that
Midas Black.
was oh my god. I said yeah, they don't need a regular match. They need a steel cage, 4 count anywhere, and then all you know, the double cross. I said that's a story. That's perfect
Ooh.
story right there. That was the most perfect story I've seen in my life. Like they bamboozled me. I'm like, oh, they're gonna have classic matches. He hate his former partner. Then his former partner hit the two tag teams. I said, there it is. That's what we need. That's storyline
Yeah.
wrestling right there.
Well, that was a great. There was a lot of great things with that match because now not only do you have a heel main event, which I'm looking forward to seeing that now. But now they just elevated another tag team because they got those two guys. I don't know who they are, but people are calling them New Day. Which in don't worry, to the two guys that got bamboozled, we gonna find out who you are. We gonna have you on. Well, I'm gonna have you on ringside side. We gonna talk about what's going on with y'all because I'm curious like that. I'm curious like that. Like I'm the kind of person like I want to know who everybody is. I want to know who that person is, who you know where they came from, who's that person having that first match. So we gonna find out who that person is. But yeah, that match was great. The Sweet Cheeks cash in, I enjoyed that because it's crazy, and this is why I always tell people, you gotta be cool with people because you never know who's gonna become who.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 4 years ago, I actually interviewed Sweet Cheeks. I saw he was part of the Nightmare Factory. He graduated from Nightmare Factory, which is Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall's wrestling school.
Nice.
He graduated from there, and at that time, I was hardcore interviewing everybody that came out of that school. And we had a great interview. He was already popular at the time. People knew who Sweet Cheeks was. This time this is when he used to team with these two they called themselves House of Glory PD.
Mm.
And Sweet Cheeks, one of them was Evander I forgot, not Evander Holyfield, obviously, but his first name was Evander. I forgot what his last name was. And there was another woman named Scarlett Maidon who actually just wrestled at that Battle Club Pro with Women Crush Wednesday, which was another great show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that people were like cheering for him. I'm like, yeah, I gotta see what this guy is, get him on the show. And we had a great interview, and lo and behold, now he's the House of Glory champion. I was like, he did it, man.
Yeah, and Charles Mason, I never seen a sadistic heel ever like that in a long time.
He needs
Like
to be signed.
like that, his whole persona is the perfect Charles Manson. Like, and I feel like a lot of people, not saying like that, but have like that dark persona.
Mm-hmm.
Learn that from Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, just like with Leo Rush. That was the greatest pop ever.
Oh yeah.
Period. Leo Rush winning the cruiserweight title. That was the greatest pop at that night. Big shout out to Leo Rush for that one.
That was a good one. The next match we got to see though, I would like to see Charles Mason versus is it Darius? Not Darius Crawford, the All Father. For those of you watching, sometimes names slip my mind, but there's a guy called the All Father. People liken him to like William Regal,
Mm.
but but Darius, he's another one too. Like he is very sadistic in the ring, and you could tell when this guy walks out, he does not like anybody at all. Like he is like he
He's
doesn't
like
care for anybody.
he's like the Shawn Michaels of for what he doing
That
right now.
Darius Carter. Yeah, we got to get a Darius Carter. If it hasn't happened already, if it hasn't happened yet, we got to make that happen.
He's one and one. Like even just like he have that persona, you not supposed to like him, but he's so damn good in the ring that he make a broomstick look like a star.
Oh yeah. Definitely. So I got to ask you, man. How did your love for pro wrestling start? What was the match or the event that you saw that made you go, "Yo, this is dope. I'm tuning in from here on out."
Well, I could definitely say it started back in like, the VCR eras. Like, you had to record the wrestling, you know what I mean, from Saturday Night Main Event to small WrestleManias. But I could say the most vivid match that I started off with, like to me, was the Mega Powers exploding from WrestleMania 5, Hogan against Randy Savage.
Oh, why are you taking it? You taking it back to there? Okay.
I'm taking it back there, man. Like Hulk Hogan brought me to the dance, so this is like that was like my introduction to like wrestling. Especially my cousin was always recording it and watching it. So I'm like, all right, let me get in tune. But I could say
Mhm.
like my favorite match, and I always put this like number one that made me really say, nah, this is the magic of wrestling. 91 SummerSlam, Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title.
Woo!
Perfect.
That
It
was
was
oh man. Hey, whoever raised you right, bro. You are a cultured wrestling fan. My boy took it back to SummerSlam 91. What
which I
yo?
feel like is the greatest SummerSlam to me. All the match was just so perfect 6-man tag in the first beginning. Then you have Hart versus Perfect. Then you have the match made in hell with the handicap Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan against Sergeant Slaughter and his troops. Then we got Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man tying the knot, Big Boss Man and the Mountie of the Jailhouse, all in Madison Square Garden, like just even the undercard with Greg the Hammer Valentine versus IRS. Like what? I'm sorry, bro. I just went. That's
Nah,
how.
nah. You're good, man. That was a great card, by the way. I remember that card. To me, I always look at that as the elevation of Bret Hart, like into
All right.
like he's a legit singles champion. That match right there. Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan, who would have thought they would have teamed up against Sergeant Slaughter and
And then you got
Colonel Mustafa.
Sid Justice as a special guest referee. How mind blowing is that?
Yeah, that was man. That SummerSlam was definitely a classic, man. Funny thing you mentioned the mega powers that have exploded or imploded. I actually that was my first WrestleMania I ever saw like in its entirety. Like
Mm.
I've never seen. I mean the first I'll never forget. So the first WrestleMania I actually watched it was WrestleMania 3, but they only showed the first half. So I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I remember me and my mom and my then stepdad, we went to the this was I'm dating myself right now. This is like Blockbuster back in '93, and my mom told me, yeah, you could pick whichever VHS you want. I'm like, awesome. So I went. I saw the wrestling section. I'm like, yo, and I picked up WrestleMania 5, and I was like just so like excited, like just to see it, to see, my first favorite tag team, the Rockers, battling the Twin Towers, and seeing Red Rooster versus Bobby the Brain Heenan.
That little
The
segment with Roddy Piper and Roddy Downey Jr. father.
yeah,
Perfect. Oh my God.
and Brother Love, and then you had, what was the other one? What other match? At the Bushwhackers versus the Rougeaus, Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Bad News Brow. Hey, that was a great card up and down, man.
Did Demolition fought at that WrestleMania?
Yeah, they fought the Powers of Pain, and that had the only in ring appearance at a WrestleMania of Mr. Fuji. I remember that one. Yeah, yeah, that was yeah, that was an enjoyable one. And you know what's funny? Demolition used to scare me back as a kid. I was like, who's gonna
Really?
who's gonna beat these guys? Like, these guys
Oh
are, there's
man.
three guys. They're picking on people, and then Legion of Doom came in, and I was like, wait,
That.
these guys are bad too. And then
Mm-hmm.
me now, I see people cheering Legion of Doom. I'm like, oh, they're good guys. I'm supposed to cheer them. Okay, I'll cheer Legion of Doom. And then they came in and they just destroyed Demolition, and that was it. Like, they, you know, Crush went
Mm-hmm.
on to become a surfing Hawaiian guy, and um, Smash went and started repoing people's
So man,
vehicles, and Axe. I don't know what I'm to Axe.
but it's so crazy. Even when that happened, the year before that, they had the greatest tag team match at SummerSlam, like with the Hart Foundation, a 2 out of 3 falls match, and it's like little matches like that draw me into, like, yeah, that's what made me a wrestling fan. Things like that you can't unduplicate.
Yeah. So I got it. So WrestleMania. What was, so growing up? Who were like some of your favorites that you enjoyed watching?
Oh, definitely the classic of besides, the Hogan, Savage, really Stone Cold the GOAT, and that whole Attitude Era. Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H, uh shoot. I wasn't even that much of a big Undertaker fan because my cousin is an Undertaker fan. So it's like I respect the Undertaker, but it was the other characters that draw me in. But mainly this Rock and Austin.
Yeah, man. Rock and Austin, they were definitely a great rivalry back then. It's funny. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch WCW growing up?
Once the WWE Network came in 2015, I did all my homework of WCW, and from I can say it's from the second Starcade to at least '94,
Mhm.
WCW had WWE number. There was no way around it.
But isn't it crazy how Steve Austin changed? Like, he was a pretty boy back in WCW, stunning Steve Austin, the
I
Hollywood.
I recorded that one WCW pay-per-view. I think it was out of Halloween Havoc or Great American Bash, that he lost the title to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or he won the title against Ricky Steamboat. But it was like the following of he faced Hacksaw for the U.S. title.
Okay.
So I vividly remember that, like, that was like the most highlight. Like, oh, Ricky Steamboat had to relinquish his title to Stunning Steve, and then, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was the mystery opponent for Stunning Steve. Stunning, like, he would just outweight, shoulder attack him, 1, 2, 3, you knew the United States champ. Like, it was that little vividly things like that. Like, WCW had it. Flying Brian Pillman, Mark
Yeah.
Mero, like they had so much stars, and everybody was a key contributor, especially like Worlds Collide and just everything. They had everything more than WWE.
Yeah, I often look back at those. I'm like, if they had just invested more time, because to me, like, once Hulk Hogan came there, Hulk Hogan was great, but at the same time, like, all the native stars that they had there, like Stunning Steve, and you had um Johnny B. Bad, who this is a hill I'm willing to die on. As the money was great, I'm sure at WWE, but Johnny B. Bad was better off in WCW.
Literally,
He
Mark
I always
Merrill
felt,
was down the drain in WWE, but Johnny B. Bad was like he looked just like Little Richard.
yeah.
Why? How y'all not gonna mess up that money? But millionaire Ted, whatever.
And then you had guys like here. You want to hear a controversial thing I'm about to say? I never cared for Goldust. I never cared for that character. I know if Dustin Rhodes ever heard me saying this, he'd cuss me out. He'd probably knock my ass out next time he saw me at a whatever wrestling event he's at. But I never cared for Goldust because I always knew that Dustin had as much potential as Cody did. Cody
and
does.
that's why it's not that much controversial because he probably feel the same way. If only they let Dustin had a chance in WWE, the way how he he had one of the best rivalries in WCW for the United States title and the television title against Arn Anderson. Why? Like what? I, that's why I say in certain opinions, I agree with you. It's like, okay, this is the natural. And the natural had the best skills in ring more than anybody at that time. Young, agile, but Vince didn't like because your father is Dusty Rose. Oh no, we're gonna make you something different. The way how we got your dad in the polka dot, we're gonna make you something different too. And the only person that got out of the loophole was Cody.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Cody, I think the reason why Cody got out of that, didn't get as much of the brunt, didn't get any brunt of it, is because Cody was actually a WWE product. Cody started his whole career at WWE as opposed to where Dustin. I mean, yeah, Dustin was. I mean, technically, Dustin, he was in WWE for that one-off match back in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
No, 1991 Royal Rumble. It was 1991 Royal Rumble. Him and his dad versus the Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, and Virgil.
Right.
Um, but Dustin, really and truly, I think he was an indie guy. And that was it. Cody, now, when Cody's first steps in wrestling were WWE. He went to their training center. It was at OVW or DSW at the time. So
Yep.
how would they want to? Why would they dog out one of their own that they actually pretty much created? I mean, yeah, sure, his father had some input, but it was their facilities that he was using to better himself as a wrestler. So
Exactly.
I could see why he actually didn't have to go through as much as Goldust, but yeah, hey, that's the business, So, what was your first? I know you went to WrestleMania XL.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great one too. You had Cody Rhodes, finally finishing the story. You had the tag team, the match for the tag team ladder match for both titles. You had, in my opinion, at the time, the big three: Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi in 6-woman tag team action.
Which they're gonna make a triple threat at some pay-per-view, but we patiently wait for it.
I'm waiting for Bianca versus Jade. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see that happen.
How you give us a Royal Rumble moment and it's still like, hey, WrestleMania main event, women's title, like big money, but they're gonna let it sizzle.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely a memorable. That was my first ever WrestleMania. Second WrestleMania I went to. First one with the 2-night format. You had so many great matches there. You had Sami Zayn versus Gunther, brother versus brother, Jimmy versus Jey Uso. You had, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. He finally won the title at WrestleMania, only to lose it in 9 seconds to Damian Priest because he cashed in his Money in the Bank title shot.
Because
You had,
CM Punk screwed him over.
yeah. Yeah, so you had Bailey fighting Io Sky
That was a
after
classic.
finding out that not Judgment Day, Damage Control wasn't really for her.
Mm-hmm.
So many great matches at that pay-per-view. But Was that your first WrestleMania, or have you been to WrestleManias before that one?
My first WrestleMania was the WrestleMania before COVID, WrestleMania 35.
Oh,
At
okay. Oh, Kofi Mania. Okay. So I gotta ask you, bro. What was your reaction when you saw Kofi finally win it, man? When Kofi got that win on
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, I get yeah,
It felt like Obama win the election all over again, and I literally screamed. I have it documented. Like I literally screamed, "We did it! He ain't do it. We did it as a culture, as a nation, as just black wrestling fans." That Kofi won his first ever WWE championship, and it was the most proudest moment. It's like seeing Obama getting elected all over again.
yeah. That was
Literally,
that that was definitely a great moment because I always say that it was about time. We've had so many people that we thought were it. You had people like Tony Atlas back in the day. I mean, technically, The Rock is the first black world champion because he's half black, half Samoan.
yeah, and we
Um,
give him credit for that, but and again, it was still oh, you did it for your Samoan side, and
yeah,
we could still say, oh no, he literally still did it for his black side. They still black. You know what I mean? From like the Tasmanians and all that, but we know, like, listen, if Yokozuna was world heavyweight champion, you're gonna be world heavyweight champion.
yeah,
Like, there's no way around it. So it's
yeah.
like we respect the Rock, but once Kofi broke that barrier,
Hmm.
then we get the Big E's, we get the Bobby Lashley's, we get the Swerve Strickland because he
Yeah,
set the new platform of every future. Like, and again, we could discredit because, oh no, we had Sasha Banks and we had Bianca Belair.
yeah. But we're talking about black male. But when you tell me, said black males, somebody that looks
Exactly.
like me, my gender. I mean, I'm a male. I identify as a male. I'm he, him. So I want somebody that identifies as he, him. No offense to those of you that identify by by another pronoun. I'm not trying to get canceled now,
Not
but
at all.
but I want somebody that it means a lot when there's somebody that looks like me that represents me, which is a black man.
Exactly.
So you know, yeah, women have black women, and I'm happy for the sisters. Jacqueline, sweetheart. I had the honor of meeting her. I'm still in one piece. Meeting her at was it WrestleCon last year for during SummerSlam week. I got to
Nice.
meet her. Yeah, she had the belt back in 1998. Jazz had it back in 2002. And Alicia Fox and so on and so on. But for the brothers, the black
Mm-hmm.
males, we had, like I said, Tony Atlas. It could have been him. Didn't work out. You had, okay, who was the next? Who was another one? Ahmed Johnson,
That
another
did
guy.
that. It was not gonna work for him.
Didn't work out. You know, Viscera, maybe, but it didn't look like they were going to put him in that situation. Ron Simmons didn't look
Definitely
like it
not.
was going to happen because
He already established WCW, and they didn't want to feel like, oh, they copying off of WCW. Oh, he the first African American in WWE to win the World Heavyweight title.
yeah. So now fast forward several. I mean, we had Devon Dudley. Didn't look like it was going to happen for him. I could see it. Bubba Ray was the better one out of those two,
Of
and then
course.
you had Shelton Benjamin and R-Truth. R-Truth left, went to TNA. Shelton Benjamin. I still think that was a lost cause. By the way,
That
yeah,
they fumbled that. They fumbled that big time. And the only excuse that somewhat we have is Mark Henry, but he won the world title, not the
yeah,
WWE title. It's a big difference.
exactly. So, um,
Yeah,
I would say with Shelton Benjamin, people say the one thing people say is he didn't know how to work on the mic. Okay, we'll put a manager with him. That's what
I would.
managers. Am I right
But
or am I
even
wrong?
Nah, you're right. But even if he didn't know how to work on the mic, he still would have punctual punchlines and certain charisma that would win him over. He was just a win over person in general. You just ain't like he was that good, and he put on certain 5-star matches with a Shawn Michaels or Money in the Bank. That, oh yeah, we don't know if he the golden standard to win a WWE champion. Why not, Vince? Why not?
Yeah, but Yeah, so but now, hey, it's finally coming to pass. We had Bobby Lashley win it. Now we got, Trick Williams, Trick, with his lemon pepper steppers, he's about to make, and I'll even be brave and say Carmelo Hayes is another one. Carmelo Hayes, a lot of people down him because
The
of his size.
greatest, the greatest worker right now.
I
The
think
greatest worker right now.
I think he's gonna get there. And then of course you got Obafemi. I mean, the brother just squashed Brock Lesnar. I've never seen
Listen,
that happen at a wrestler of all places, WrestleMania. He squashed Brock Lesnar. And then he,
listen,
then he
man.
got another win. I mean, yeah, Brock got his win at Clash in Italy, and then he came back after that tombstone power driver on the bare wooden floor, the wooden canvas of the ring, and he got back up and hit him with that fall from grace. And that was the end for Brock Lesnar over Femi.
Oba should have been here 20 years ago. Honestly,
Yeah,
Oba
but
should have been.
20 years ago that was the Attitude Era. Would they have actually pushed him right? That would Vince have pushed him right? Vince was
They,
on some
you're
on some
right.
on some craziness back then.
You're right. They wouldn't push him in attitude. They would push him in the ruthless aggression. He would have had the best classic match with Batista.
Yeah,
The way how Vince think, he want that big $1 million money. So Batista versus Obafemi at a WrestleMania.
yeah. So
Yeah, of course he's gonna work with John Cena. And they ain't gonna let John win, but you know
but,
he gonna let Oba win against Batista to win the world title.
yeah, I'm actually just happy that he's getting this chance that more because I always tell people, man, one guy I had this argument with a guy. I had him on the show too, crazy enough, and he's like, "What does race matter? Why does race matter?" And I saw he's getting visibly upset. Like I don't know if he was going to try to swing or whatever. And I'm not trying to throw hands. I mean, I'm not no big badass. I'm not going to try to fight you over your opinion, but I'm trying to explain, like, bro, representation matters because
Matters
what does representation create? Inspiration, right? So now Obafemi goes. Puts the whooping on Roman Reigns, takes on Tribal Thief, fall from grace, the ruler, Obafemi, or he goes over to SmackDown, best in the world. I got your number. Fall from grace on CM Punk. 1, 2, 3. New champion over on SmackDown, the ruler, Obafemi. Now you got some little boy from Ghana
from
who's
Ghana,
watching
Nigeria, Cameroon, Liberia, South Africa.
Ethiopia. Yeah,
What they are looking
inspiring.
at? They looking at the true king, just like how they was looking at Black Panther. And to
Yeah,
me, Obafemi is M'Baku. His walk is straight M'Baku, and now he about to super develop into this Black Panther T'Challa role. Is about to go to the next level.
yeah.
About to go to the next level.
So it definitely means a lot. And people, for those of you watching, I'm not just saying, oh, yes, I'm a proud black man, but that doesn't mean I don't have love for other ethnicities. It's just that, you know, it's great to see somebody like you. And yes, I'm hoping one day they have another Asian champion that's not Samoan. You know, I hope that
Literally.
one that maybe Shinsuke or no, was it Naraku? I know him as Evil.
Mm.
Naraku gets up there on that main roster and wins that world champion. I hope that who else you have on there that's not white or
Because it
something.
it
And
brings
this is not against
validity.
white people. This is not against white because I don't want y'all canceling me now.
It's about validity, guys. And the validity is, can I see my representation as the on the top of the mountain just for that split second? So another 50 to 100 kids that look just like them is going to go to a wrestling school and say, "Oh, I was inspired by Obafemi. I was inspired by Finn Balor. I was inspired by Io Sky." Like,
Yeah.
international representation matters, and it doesn't matter what race or ethnicity you are. Once you see yourself on the top of the mountain, you want to see 50 to 100 of those, so oh, they was inspired by the same person that looked like them.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
No, but
But
teach his own.
yeah, yeah. So I gotta ask you, man, before we wrap it up. Mania trivia, man. Tell us about that, man. We know,
So,
we saw
so
you asking a couple questions the other day. You asked a fan. about WrestleMania 40, about what you think is going to happen and everything, who's going to win. So tell us about that brand, man.
So Mania Trivia is a collective unit with me and my cousin Quindell. We started back at WrestleMania 40, just having a mic and just interviewing fans, just want to know their wrestling knowledge of what's going to happen, of during that match, or what you looking forward for. You know what I mean? Like, what's the excitement, and like just really breaking it down to the point that it's like, hey, like, you know, what is your wrestling knowledge like? You know what I mean? That's my true like connection. Like, yeah, what's your wrestling knowledge besides what's going on with the match and who you want to win, and what's your truly opinion as wrestling fan? What's your wrestling knowledge? Do you remember a time that you know? Oh, do you remember this match that happened at WrestleMania 24 with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair? Or not even WrestleMania 24, or even what about WrestleMania 13, besides the Austin and Bret Hart match? What was the match that gave you the sense of, oh, that was a classic match even if it wasn't that good? Like, so it just asking fans, about their wrestling knowledge, and the love for the wrestling.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that sounds like a great brand, man. Like I like that. And I hope you guys have a lot of success with it. You should have told me it was two of y'all. I would have two of y'all on here, man.
I know, but he's all the way in Vegas,
I
so
don't mean nothing. I could have just done, brother. You got to understand this here. Trust me, we don't care what location you at. We've had people. Let me tell you something, and this is why I say this proudly. I've had instances where I'm in Brooklyn, New York. Actually, I've had to start this show at 3 a.m. in the morning after I got home from work because I'm here and my guest is doing a tour in Japan, Tokyo, Japan. Shout out to Teriyaki, by the way, great guy. Him and Jay Lucas, they killing it right now on the indie circuit. You know, I've had instances where I've stayed up till 2 a.m. because I'm in London and our guest was in Texas at the time. Another instance where I've had to actually start a show. I had to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning to start a show at 8 a.m. in the morning because I'm in Tokyo, Japan. This time I'm in Tokyo and our guest is over in Delaware. So trust me, time is not really a bad thing. It's not really distance is not really a thing for me. Like I could care less. I
okay,
mean, I can
okay,
make it happen. So
all right,
I've,
all
I've
right.
actually done shows from Vegas too. So yeah, it's and we've had people from Vegas on our show. So yeah, but tell your cousin, man, hit us up, man. We gonna tell him hit us with that follow, and we gonna have him on, man. We like to have him on, talk some wrestling, man.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Because WrestleMania 40, I took him to his first WrestleMania, and then we went to the one last year because he lived out there. So it was just one of those experiences. He like, yeah, this is different when I see on TV. I'm like, yeah, this is a whole different feeling. Being at the actual show, and you could feel the energy in the show, like full on energy, over 1,000 people and stuff. It's a different feeling than you see on TV.
Oh yeah, and the thing I like about watching wrestling live, you meet so many like fans too. It's not just wrestlers, but like you meet so many fans that enjoy it. And I just like how we met in Vegas. Like I saw you and I was like, "Yo, here's my card. Hit me up." And and here we are. So yeah, man, it's always a great thing watching wrestling live. You know.
Yeah, big shout out to the like true wrestling fan, and there's a lot of true wrestling fans, but like you said before, like if they be going overboard and they don't know how to mind their manners. You know what I mean? And
That's
and
another. Go ahead.
like I said, I'm piggybacking off of you because, and again, I feel like genuine like wrestling fans like you, like real genuine content creators that been doing it for so long, that know from the actual like behind the curtains and the actual person, to know, like, listen, I'm very respectful because I respect them of their craft and what they do. Please don't go overboard and try to step on their toes, or try to catch them on the airport for a picture or anything wild crazy, or disrespecting a wrestler because they ain't give you the time of day. Like, there's a million of them. If the big stars can't talk to you right now, they busy. Catch them in a meet and greet. Catch them at a live show. You gonna still pay to respect the job that they do. So respect them when they not on the job. At the end of the
Yeah,
day, they have real names that they go to their friends and family back home to that we don't know about.
man, I've beaten this with a dead horse so long. I've beaten this. I shouldn't even say this, but I've beaten this story so long that, and I keep telling wrestling fans a lot of time, if you're mannerly, if you're respectful, and if you're cool and just chill, you'll go a lot of places. You know what I mean? I've had a wrestler tell me one time, I don't normally do podcasts, but for you, I'll do it. I've been invited to have dinner with wrestlers because I'm just chill. I've shared an Uber with a wrestler one time and I was just chill. Okay. Wrestling fans, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, for those of you, it's not bad to have another hobby. That helps. I remember one particular wrestler, I'm not gonna call names, them and we were sharing a Lyft or Uber in Queens, New York. And I said, you know something? If you don't want to talk about wrestling, we could talk about something else. I got other things I'm into. I'm into photography. I'm a photographer. I'm into traveling. I travel a lot. That four continents thing is true. I've been on four continents. You know, vlogging, food. I'm into that. You know, what I'm saying we don't have to talk about but wrestling. But they were like, "Nah, it's cool. We talk about wrestling." I'm like, okay, all right, good. You know, and that was
Yeah,
that. So yeah,
it's about time and space. Because and again, no one you don't want a wrestler that's being gimmick come to your job and just start destroying stuff, and then
yeah,
they go walk away. It's like they gonna look at you like you just gonna let this happen. I say, what else I supposed to do?
oh yeah,
Stop it. Be respectfully and tell them like you can't do that here in a public setting.
yeah. Yeah, man, y'all gotta. Yeah, wrestling fans, y'all gotta do better, man. Like, there's
Yeah,
those of you that get it. Most of you get it, and I get that, you know. But those of you that actually do the most, chill out, man. I get it, and those you content creators too. There's some of y'all that be toxic because you got a certain amount of followers. You're not better than anybody. Stop it. You can lose your follower account. You can lose that account easily. I've seen it happen. It happened to me. We had Twitter. Our account was 1,000 or something, and somebody hacked into our stuff, and we lost that account. But guess what? It's cool. I don't mind rebuilding. I'll rebuild. I'm still
mm-hmm.
alive. You
All
know.
the time.
But just
I,
be humble, man. Like just chill, enjoy the space. Yes, you got that interview. Congratulations. I'm happy you got to interview LA Knights or Kenny Omega or whatever. You got to do a skit with whatever wrestlers. That's fine, but you're not better than anybody else. Just be chill. Just be humble, man.
that's
Trust
it.
me.
They regular human beings that got a regular life outside of their professional. You got a regular life outside of your job, right?
Yeah.
So people gotta very be respectful. And again, thank God some of these wrestlers actually have like no, not even like calling out their business, but therapeutic, sessions and stuff like that. Imagine we had to deal with the wrestlers in the '90s. Y'all fans think y'all could survive in the '90s of of the wrestlers?
Yeah, it would be something.
Man, they always gonna say, yeah, fan our stock had been broke by a wrestler and stuff. The charges had dropped. It's like what?
Yeah.
God. So that's what I was say. Y'all, let's be mindful. Let's be mindful. Be respectful. And even like I said, there's certain wrestlers, they're gonna give you that respect and love if you respect and love them back. No, I got a picture with Shanti. I was just congratulating her, and I'm like, "Hey, can I take a picture?" She was willing to take a picture. I said, "Oh, that's cool," but I was mad at myself because I ain't have enough to want to take a picture with Ricky Sosa and Leo Rush. I'm like, you know what? I want to catch y'all at WrestleCon. I I'm mad at myself right now, but at least I know, hey, I know they gotta put food on their table just like everybody else. And if I can't support them now, I support them later.
Oh yeah.
Don't be mad like, oh, he didn't want to take no picture. She didn't want to take no picture. Okay, buy a meet and greet then.
There you go. Yeah, speaking of Ricky Sosa, we got a special announcement coming up, so y'all stay tuned in like a couple minutes. But Malcolm, I gotta say, man, yo, it's been great having you on the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a guest on our show. Really, really and truly appreciate it. You know, hopefully we can have you back for one of our prediction shows where we do predictions of wrestling events that are coming up,
Oh,
or one of our
oh yeah.
topic episodes. But thank you very much. Before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling and check out Mania Trivia as well?
You could catch me on my Instagram and on my Twitch, Mania Trivia. Like just you can see that yellow and black logo. Two wrestlers locking up. I'm here for all your answers and difficult questions because once you think you know the answers, I change the questions. Roddy Piper.
There you go. Classic Piper's Pit, man. Yes, y'all make sure y'all definitely follow this man. Definitely a cool individual. Check out Mania Trivia if you love trivia, especially WrestleMania trivia. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner, but not a nap yet because I got another show to do after this. So y'all don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. But if you want to follow me, I just want to say for those of you that if you want to follow me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. I'll be traveling to maybe Indonesia next in October, or maybe some other country. If you want to see what I end up doing there and do what I do over there respectfully, not cause a menace. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Remy Blue. The Blue Sky is at remyblue.bsky.social. I'm also on Facebook, as you guessed it, Remy Blue. And I'm also on TikTok, the same thing at the Remy Blue. If you love food, actually, check out my TikTok. It's really interesting. And last but not least, more importantly, we have our podcast is also on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is at Ringside Society. Twitter is at Ringside Social. That's our new one. Our old one at Ringside Society got taken down. If you get any messages from that, disregard it. Somebody hacked it. We can't get access to it, even though they say we have access. So we're starting all over again at Ringside Social. Check us out. We're also on Blue Sky at Ringside Society. And we're also on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. And we're also on Spotify and Teespring, where you can buy official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts. We have tank tops. We have not tank tops. We have T-shirts. We have long sleeve shirts. We have hoodies. We have several different designs. We started our in-year series collection where we have our logo in different city colors. We have New Orleans up right now. We're actually dropping one tonight, so stay tuned for that. Check us out. All proceeds from our merch sales go back into keeping our show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. And last but not least, you have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with Squirrel the Great and Just Saying, two other great wrestlers as well too. And you can also see our upcoming interview with Aria Rose, the Bronx Borough president and princess, who will be here in a few minutes. You can check that out as well. And to see him, it's really simple. Just go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. Once you see that really good looking dark blue and light blue yin yang sound with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up and you don't want to miss a thing. Like Aerosmith in 1998. Matter of fact, I'm going to give y'all what we got coming up right now. So in a couple of minutes, we have the Bronx Borough president and princess Aria Rose, who actually trained at Battle Club Pro and has had memorable battles against people like opponents like Gem and Luxury Leah, and more recently, Mel Ortiz. She's going to be on our show in a couple of minutes. We're also going to be having tomorrow. If you are a fan of Ricky Sosa, that's right. Sosa, bang, bang. I know. I'm still trying to master the movements. If you're a fan of Ricky Sosa, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow because we will be having one of his former Top Dogs family stablemates, A Buck. He's going to be on our show at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you check that out because, like I said, if you're a fan of Ricky Sosa, this is a man from his past. And I could tell you right now, a couple nights ago or last night, I told y'all, I gave y'all a few names to follow that were associated with Ricky Sosa. Follow them. Trust me, each of those men are very impressive in what they do. And I got a feeling they're going to do great things in professional wrestling. So we have him tomorrow and as a guest. And afterwards, later on in the evening, we actually have Rembrandt, who's also from Battle Club Pro, on our show. So make sure you tune in for that. You know, you don't want to miss it. It's definitely going to be a great time. And with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. Thank you very much. You know, we really and truly appreciate you taking time to hear us out. To those of you that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at Gordon Corral, we're not going anywhere for a while. So with that being said, you know, we just want to let everybody know we're very well and aware. It's not a secret to us. We get it. Everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. I should put that on a shirt, by the way. Sounds very impressive.
Hashtag
So with
that.
that being said, I'm gonna say it right now. One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture. And one time for Mania Trivia host Malcolm Litt. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. We'll be back in a few minutes with another impressive guest on another impressive episode. But until then, we just have 4 favors for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and enjoy wrestling. We out. Peace.
Nice. Nice. Woo!